In this video, we will return to the find function, and we'll also look at three new ones: insert, erase, replace, and append. So I guess that's actually four new ones. So we'll take a look at those four new string processing functions as well as find. I'm going to use the same example as in the previous two videos, or at least a portion of it, and that this sentence that you see here, CS121 and so on, is going to be used once again. Last time, and the time before in the previous two videos, we did talk about the find function, which you see here. And we used it to find the substring 121 in the sentence, and when we did, the actual location of 121 was returned in this variable position. So we've done that already. Now, what I want to do here is to expand on that just a bit. Whenever you use the find function, then you need to be prepared for the possibility that the string that you're looking for is not actually located in the sentence or in the string. So what happens in that case? Well, if we just take what we have here, and if we run this program, which I'll do, then you'll see that we'll print out the position, and that position should be just the number 3 as we've seen earlier, because the 1 in 121 is located here at position number 3. Well, let's verify that. Let's build and run this program. In fact, I might not have to build it. Yes, I guess I do have to build it, so we'll do that. Here's the result, and you can see that the position that comes back is 3, as we would expect. Okay, now let's change things up a little bit, and let's see what happens if we search for a string that is not in the sentence. So let's go back to the code, and instead of searching for 121, let's change that to 122. Now, if you look at the sentence, you'll see that the string 122 is not there. Okay, well, what happens this time? What do we get for the position when we do not find the string? Okay, well, let's build a program, run it, and find out. Alrighty, well, here is the output, and this time you'll see that the position is this large positive number, 429.496.7295. So this is the value that is normally returned if a string is not found in a given, or if that substring is not found in a given string. So this gives us a way to test to see if the string was found or not, and that's what I want to get to here. Okay, so if we close this and get back to the code, then what I want to do is to put an if statement here. So each time, and this is something you should always do when you're doing a find operation, after you do a find, then you should always test to make sure that you found the string. If you found it, you might want to process it. If you didn't find it, then who knows what you might want to do here. You might want to terminate the program, or you might want to do something different. But at the very least, you want to test every time this happens. Now, let's put an if statement at this point. Okay, so let's do if position is, and let's say if we find it, then we want this to be true. So let's say if position is equal to, and there's a special technique that's used here, a special symbolism for this thing. It's called string :NPOS. Okay, now that just stands for this very large number, and by doing it this way, then this should work on whatever computer system you might be using. It's possible that a different computer system might have a different number. So if we use this number, though, then we should be good. Now, if this happens to be true, then this means we did not find the string. Okay, so let's output a message to that effect. So let's put our curly braces here. So if the position is equal to string :NPOS, then let's just write out, cout double quote the string, and I'll just hard code it this time. 122 was not found in the sentence. Okay, period, double quote, and an end line. Right? So that will tell us that we did not find the string. So we get a sentence, well, we do get an output indicating that. Now at this point, it depends. I'm not sure what you would want to do. If you wanted to terminate the program at this point, then you could just put a return here or something else to that effect. But for now, I'll just leave that off. Then we can include an else clause so that if the value that is returned is something less than this big number that we saw, then that means that we're good to go. We found the string, and we don't have to worry about any conditions that would come up if we don't find the string. All right, so let's do this. Cout. Okay, so let's do a double quote. Then the substring 121. Yeah, let's keep that substring 122. We'll stay with that. The substring 122 was found in the sentence. All right, and then we'll do an end line after that. All right, so this then is a test that we should always put in our programs following a find operation. Now let's build this and run it again, and let's see what we get. And that's fine. We'll get one of these messages or the other. Okay, so let's build it. Okay, here we see the output, and we were testing for the string 122. The position came back as this very large positive number once again, but now our if statement will tell us the string 122 was not found in the sentence. Okay, now again, once again, given that, you can decide what you want to do in that case, but you need the if statement regardless. All right, so let's close this out, and I need to close it up there, and let's continue. Okay, now I had a system pause here, so this would just terminate the program while we investigated this string of code here, this segment of code that would test to see if we happen to find the string or not. Now, let's go on and do something else with our find operation. We want to find the string 12. Okay, so position, if we see this, is the usual thing, right? We just did the find function. We have the string 12, sentence.find, and if we find it, we just save the position here. Well, that's true. We do find the string 12. It's in fact located several times there, and it's located over here, so it's in the sentence twice. If we now follow our if test that we should always do, then we would print out the position in this case. So find the string 12. So let's put our if statement in here. So if the position, and let's do it the other way around this time. Let's do if position is not equal to string ::npos, then that means that we have a legitimate value. And we'll put a square brackets or curly brackets in here. All right, so position is sentence find 12. If position is not equal to this maximum number, then that means we find it, or we did find it. All right, so let's just print out the position. Okay, cout. Okay, double quote, 12 found at position, and then we'll print out the actual position with an end line. All right, let's see if I typed all that correctly. Okay, it looks like that I did. All right, then let's put our else clause here. Cout, okay, double quote, the string 12 was not found in the sentence. Okay, period, and then an end line. And in this case, if we didn't find it, then there's no need to print out the position. We will just continue. So we can do this as two different ways here. You can do the equals if you want in the previous case up there, or if you can do a test not equal. So it's up to you as a programmer which one you want to use. Now we know that the value 1, 2 is located, so that it should print out the position. And I could run the program to test that, but let's do something else first. We know that there's also another string 1, 2 that's in the same sentence. Okay, so here's the first one, and here's the second one. How do you use the find operation to find the next one, or multiple ones, if we happen to have several occurrences of the string? Well, the way that we do that is like this. If we just did position equal to sentence dot find double quote 1 2 again, and that has to be in parentheses, then what we would have here is a value 3 once again. So it would find the first occurrence of 12 and not the second one. If you want to modify this, and we can use find in this alternate method, then you can give it a starting position so that it can begin to look through the sentence starting at a particular point. So let's assume that we have done the find operation up here, and this has returned the value 3, which is the first location of 12, and then we'll print that out. And if we want to find the next one, then we could do position is sentence.find 12 and tell it don't start at position 3 as before, start at a later position than that. So we could put a number 4 here and that would work. But what if there are other locations? What if there are other occurrences of 12 in the sentence? Then the 4 wouldn't work. So in general, what we can do is to use the position from the last search here, and then just add 1 to that. And what this is going to do is it's going to take the position from the first find, which was 3, and then it'll add 1 to that, giving it a starting position of 4 in order to locate the second occurrence of the number 12. Now this should work just fine, but we know we should always do our if test to make sure that we did find it. If we didn't find it, then we want to do something different. So in fact, I could copy this if statement from before. It'll be exactly the same. So I'm just going to highlight that and make a copy, and I'll paste it in here. Now, okay, so now we do a find operation. We're looking for the next occurrence of 12. And if we do not find it, that is, it returns this large number, then we know that we're okay. If we didn't return the large number, that means we found it and we print out the position, and otherwise we'll print out the message that we did not find it. All right, now let's go ahead and check this. So I want to move my system pause down so the program stops at that point. Okay, so let me do that. So we'll paste that in here. And I lost a semicolon, so let's put that back. Now, what should happen this time is that we should get a value for 12 here for the first location, and then we'll get a different value for our string 12 here, starting at location number 4 and going forward. All right, let's build it and run it. Here we have the results. So if we look through this, we'll find from the previous example, the string 122 was not found in the sentence, so we're going to go past that. 12 was found at position number 3, so this is the first find operation that we did. And then the next output says 12 was found at position number 27. All right, so we can use this technique with find. And let's close that. And we come back to the code window. So if you use this technique with find, then this will locate multiple occurrences of the string within the sentence. You can also put this in a loop, and eventually the string will not be found, so the else clause would execute, and then you can decide what you want to do at that point. Now, let's continue and look at some additional operations that we can do. So I've left open some space here, but the comment says we want to erase a series of characters. Let's erase the time, that is 1110. All right, so we'll do that, and then shortly let's see how we can replace that by inserting a new time. But first of all, let's see if we can erase those characters. First of all, I am just going to remove my system pause from here. So I'll just cut that, and I'll paste it down here. Okay, so let's remove some space. Now, what I want to do is to erase the string 1110. All right, so first of all, let's find it. Okay, so let's search for it. So position is equal to sentence dot find. Okay, parentheses, double quote, 11 : 10, double quote, right paren, semicolon. Okay, so this is going to search POSITION. Okay, so that works. So this will look for the string 1110 in the string. So we see that that time is located in the string. So it's located right there, right, 1110. So we know that we should find it. But we should always use our if statement. Now, what I want to do this time, instead of just copying and pasting it, is I want to show you yet a different thing that you can use to test to see if you found the string in the sentence. So we can do it like this. If the position is greater than or equal to 0 and position is less than sentence.length, then that means we've also found it. Okay, so let me clean this up. So if the position is greater than or equal to 0 and the position is less than the length of the sentence, then that means it's returned a position between 0 and some number, which is the maximum length of the sentence. So if the position comes back in that range, then that means that you did find the string in there as well. So you can use that as a test instead of the two other ones that I showed you up above, where we used the in positive value for a string. So either one of those will work. Now back to this. If position is greater than 0, greater than or equal to 0, and it's less than the length of the sentence, that means we found it. So we want to extract it. So this time, though, instead of doing something with it, I just want to delete it from the sentence. All right, so let's see how we can do that. The thing that we use for that is called erase. All right, so we can use the erase function. Then it works like this. It's just sentence.erase, and then in parentheses we give it the starting position. Okay, so we can use the same position that was returned with our find operation, because that gives us the first position of our substring. So we want to start at that position, add a comma, and then how many characters would you like to erase? Well, this time I want to erase 5 of them, and then close that and add a semicolon. So what this will do is erase 5 characters from the position of the string 11:10, or in effect it will erase those 5 characters. Now, just to make sure that it did, let's print our sentence out and take a look at it. Let's do cout and then just print sentence with an end line. To give some space between this output and the previous ones, I want to put a couple of end lines before that. Okay, so this will just separate this out. All right, so this will do that. Let me add something else here. Let's just put another cout statement up here. And say erase the time 11:10 from the sentence. All right, so that will just indicate what we're doing. That'll print that out to the screen. All right, now let's see. Let's move our system pause up and let's test this out. Control X and let's put this right here. Okay, now let's build and run the program. This shows the output. The original sentence had 11:10, as you can see here. But after we have erased the time 11:10 from the sentence, you'll see it says CS121 meets from, and then there's a blank here. So we've used the erase operation to erase that time 11:10 from the sentence. All right, now that we've erased that, let's insert a new time. Let's insert a new time of 12:45 in that same location. In order to do that, we use another operation, and it's called insert. So it's just sentence.insert. And you probably guessed we want to use the same position. Okay, so that's the position where the 1110 once appeared. And then we follow that by the actual string that we want to insert, or substring. So double quote 12:45, double quote, right paren, semicolon. Okay, so what this will do is to insert the string 12:45 at the position. Now, when we erased this time earlier, we did an erase and we erased 5 characters up here. This time we want to insert, and we're inserting 5 characters. Now, it doesn't matter how many characters that you want to insert. As it turns out, this time it's exactly the same number, but you can have any length substring here that you want. So double quote and then put as many characters as you want here to define the substring that you want to insert, and then those will be inserted in the sentence starting at that position. All right, now let's make sure this works. So let's move the system pause down yet again. And let's also print out our system, or sentence here, I should say, so that we can see the change. So let's say sentence with 12:45 added, period, space, and print out sentence. Maybe there'll be enough room on the output for that. All right, now let's compile this and run it. And here we have the result. Okay, so we have CS121 meets from, so there's the blank where we moved 1110. Then we want to insert the new time 12:45. So now we have sentence with 12:45 added, and then I print out the sentence, and you can see now that it says CS121 meets from 12:45. So that new substring has been inserted into the string, replacing the time 1110 that we had earlier. The next thing I want to do is to show you that you can do both of those steps in one operation by using the replace function. All right, so let's go back to the code window, and we want to replace the time 12:30 with 2:05. All right, so in order to do that, then we don't have to find and then well, let's see, we do have to do a find, but then we don't have to do 2 operations. We can just do a replace instead of an insert and an erase, or I guess an erase followed by an insert. I'll move the system pause down so we can see the next step. So let's erase it from there and paste it back in here. Replace the time 12:30 with 2:05. Now let's move on and take a look at the replace operation or function, string processing function. So previously, or just now, we used an erase operation followed by an insert. We can combine those two things together into a replace function, and it works like this. So what I want to do this time is to replace this string 12:30 with 2:05. So if you look at the sentence, you'll find out that that is the second time that shows up over here, 12:30. So we want to change that to 2:05. So let's go back down, and first of all, we need to find that time. We need to find 12:30, so we have the position as sentence.find 12:30, as we've done many times already. Let's put our if statement in to make sure that we do actually find it. So let's do if position is greater than or equal to 0, and our position is less than the length of the sentence, because we know that the maximum value of the position is just length minus 1. So that means if this is true that we have found it, the string is actually in there. So let's put our curly brackets in, and now let's process that. Alright, so what I want to do in this case is we want to do a replace operation. And we can do that by using sentence.replace. Alright. Now, the replace operation requires 3 arguments. So the first one is the position to begin. Okay, so that is the position of the 12:30 that we just found. The second argument is going to be the number of characters to replace. So in the case earlier, we erased 5 characters. So this time we want to replace 5 characters. So it's 5 characters once again. It can be as many as you want it to be. And then you follow that with a third argument that gives the replacement substring to go in there. So we want 205. Okay, so this is going to be double quote 2:05, double quote. And then we have the right parentheses and semicolon to terminate the operation. Now in this case we're going to replace 5 characters with 4, and that will work out just fine. Alright, now once that's done, let's print out our modified sentence. So let's do cout sentence, and let's just do equals double quote and print out sentence followed by an end line. So this will give us a modified sentence, so now it should have the time 205 in it. However, we need to complete this if statement, right? So if we did not happen to find the string 1230, then we should have a statement that prints to the screen that we did not find it. So for completeness, let's just put our cout, okay, double quote, the substring, okay, 1230 was not found. Double quote, let's put period, double quote, end line. So if we don't find it, then we'll have that information printed to the screen. But we should find it. We're pretty sure 1230 is in there. Alright, then we'll have a system pause. So let's see how the replace operation worked. Right, so we'll again go through the build and run process. And now we have the output. Okay, at the bottom of this, we are going to do the replace. So this statement says replace the time 1230 with 205, and then we print out the sentence. Sentence equals to, and now you'll notice that the 1230 that was once over here has been replaced with the 205. So we can use the replace operation also to swap out information that's within a string. Now the last function for string processing that I want to illustrate here is append. So let's scroll down and let's take a look at this. Okay, the system pause, I think we're finished with those. This is the last function to look at, so let's erase it. And this indicates that we want to append a string to the end of a sentence, and we use the append operation to do that. Now this is going to be really simple. The only thing we really need to do is to just use the operation and print out the sentence. So append always appends to the end of the sentence. Alright, so to do that, we do sentence dot append, and in parentheses we just write in the string that we want to append, or this could be a variable containing a string. So we do double quote, and let's put spring, and let's make this 2018. That's the time I'm doing this video. So we'll add that with a period to the end of our sentence, and there's a semicolon. And then let's finally print out our modified sentence one more time. So let's do cout, and let's do an end line, and then just do sentence. Okay, and another end line. So this will append spring 2018 to our sentence, and then we will print it out, and then we'll terminate the program. Okay, so one last time, let's build and run this program. Now we see the results. So at the very bottom we see that we have the append spring 2017, which was a lie. I changed that to 2018 to the end of the sentence. And we have CS121 meets from 12:45 to 2:05 on Monday and Wednesday. And here we've appended spring 2018 to the end of the sentence. Alright, so that's not real neat. Actually, I should have erased that dot here before I appended the other dot, but that's easy enough to do. We can find this period at the end of the sentence and from the previous example, and then we could just erase that one. Or we could use the replace function, and we could find the location of this period and replace it with a single blank, and then we could add on the spring 2018 period. But anyway, that is pretty much what I wanted to show you with this video. So let's close this. And if we scroll back to the top, then you can see that in the comments what we have done is to repeat the find operation. That is, we've gone back and we've looked at the find function in order to find repeated substrings within a string. The insert, we've looked at that one. That's used just to insert a certain sequence of characters at a given position. Erase can be used to erase a given number of characters starting at a certain position. The replace function can be used in a single swoop to both erase and insert characters. And finally, append will append a string to the end of an existing string or sentence. So now you have those operations, and there are more. If you want to look at other string processing operations, then you can use an online resource, maybe your book, or you can go to like CPlusPlus.com, which is an excellent online resource. So that concludes this video.